I got rather excited yesterday when Rory posted some videos of his golf swing on Instagram. So here's my attempt at explaining some physics behind one of the greatest swings in golf. Hi everyone, hope you're all staying safe and staying healthy. So Rory McIlroy posted some videos on his Instagram yesterday of him hitting some shots for the first time in a little while. Not only was I extremely jealous, but it also got me thinking. A question I get asked a lot in lessons is, how does Rory and all these top level professionals hit the ball as far as they do? And in reality, the answer to that question is quite long-winded and would take quite a while to explain. So I'm only going to focus on one point today. At that point is, how Rory and these top level professionals use their bodies and use the ground to generate as much force and as much power as possible. In the coaching world, we call this ground reaction force. So essentially it's the force that the ground is applying back on to the person through their feet, the only connection that we have to the ground in our golf swing. And if we want to rewind all the way back to, high school physics, we're looking at Newton's third law, which is every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Now, while you're watching and listening to this video, I want you to think of the analogy of jumping as high as you can. If I was to ask you to stand up and jump in the air as high as you could, what I'd hope you would do is you would squat down as low as you can, you would put as much force or as much pressure into the ground, and you would push yourself up, you'd explode up as high as you could. In a really basic way, and in a nutshell, that's what these guys are doing to generate as much power as possible. So keeping that analogy of jumping in the ground as high as you can, we're going to forward on Rory's downswing, and we can see he starts his downswing with almost like a squat motion. So that squat motion puts force, or it puts pressure into the ground. And a way of doing that is by, as you can see in relation to the red line, is Rory drops his head. One of the biggest myths that we hear in golf is that you need to keep your head still, when in actual fact on the downswing, lowering your head helps that counter movement, that squat, to put force into the ground, and therefore is essential to generate power. So we're going to forward on a little bit to a position that we call shaft vertical in the downswing. And through research, using pressure mats and force plates, we know that the biggest hitters in the game have around about 2 times their body weight in their lead foot. So for Rory, being a right-handed golfer, his lead foot's his left foot. And if we look really, really closely at Rory's left heel, we can see it's slightly off the ground. So it's fair to say at this point that Rory has around about 2 times of his body weight in his lead front foot at this point. Now Rory's going to keep pressure on his lead side as he starts his downswing further, and he's going to essentially push off that left foot. So the force is going into the ground through Rory's body weight, and he's getting it back out the ground, and it generates into his golf swing. So as we know, the golf swing is essentially an energy transfer. So the energy is transferring from the golfer into the ground, back out of the ground, through the body, into the golf club, and into the ball. McIlroy will swing at 120 odd miles per hour, but he never looks like he's, out of control or he's lashing at it. And that's due to the fact that he uses the ground and he uses the forces of his golf swing so efficiently.